What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we're going to be doing a proper comparison between the movement system of Infinite Warfare and Black Ops 3. We've got a lot of people on one end that really prefer Black Ops 3's movement system, we've got people on the other end that prefer Infinite Warfare's movement system, and we've got the other group of people that doesn't notice any difference between the two. So today we're going to be taking a deep look at several factors that go into each of these individual movement systems, and we're going to be comparing them today. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so hopping right into it, the first thing we're going to be looking at is the maximum height that you can achieve from flat ground by using your advanced movement in both of the games. This test was pretty straightforward. I took a screen grab when they were on the ground, and then I took a screen grab at the absolute highest point of their jump, and I merged those two images together. On the left, we've got Black Ops 3, on the right, we've got Infinite Warfare, and I also made sure that I made the character models exactly the same size. So I resized the image until they were exactly the same size so that you can compare them properly to each other. And I made sure the heads were level as well on the ground. And as you can see here, you actually jump a little bit higher in Black Ops 3 compared to Infinite Warfare. The difference that I was able to calculate is roughly 13%. Now I do want to mention here also, I tested Afterburner as well as Synaptic, which both allow you to recharge your boost faster, but neither of these have any impact whatsoever on the total height that you can get from flat ground. I was definitely a little bit surprised by this result. I always thought Infinite Warfare allowed you to jump a little bit higher than Black Ops 3, but as you can see very clearly, the reverse is true. Now in addition to height, I wanted to look at several other factors with the jumping. And first off, with the same sort of jump where you're just on flat ground and you jump to your maximum height and then drop to the ground, I calculated the time to reach your maximum height. So basically the speed at which you are boosting upwards. And once again, very surprisingly, you boost a lot faster to maximum height in Black Ops 3. Keep in mind also, I didn't account for the height differences here, so you're actually boosting 13% higher, noticeably faster in Black Ops 3 compared to Infinite Warfare. It takes 1.05 seconds in Black Ops 3 and 1.13 seconds in Infinite Warfare. So again, that was a really surprising result to me as well. I always thought Infinite Warfare you could boost a little bit faster up to that maximum height, but that's simply not true. Now let's get into the charge time difference between Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare. The first number we're going to look at is how long it takes for your charge to start once you fully deplete your boost meter. Now keep in mind, the bigger white numbers are going to be without Afterburner and without Synaptic, and the blue numbers are with Afterburner on Black Ops 3 and Synaptic in Infinite Warfare. So in Black Ops 3, it takes 1.55 seconds for your boost to start charging after it's been fully depleted, and in Infinite Warfare, this happens a lot faster. It takes only 0.92 seconds for your charge to start. One interesting thing to point out here is even with Afterburner, you aren't going to start your charge as fast as the base charge start time in Infinite Warfare. Also, as you can see in Infinite Warfare, if you're using Synaptic, your charge will start sooner than without Synaptic. Getting into our next set of numbers, this is the charge duration. So from a completely empty charge, once it starts charging, how long does it take to fully charge your meter? In Black Ops 3, it takes 1.05 seconds, and Infinite Warfare 0.98 seconds, so not too much of a discrepancy here. But there is a pretty big discrepancy between Afterburner and Synaptic. As you can see, Synaptic allows you to recharge extremely quickly, almost instantly once the charge starts. And if we look at our total charge time, so this is from the moment that our boost meter is fully depleted to the point where it's fully charged, it takes 2.6 seconds in Black Ops 3 and 1.9 seconds in Infinite Warfare. So there's quite a large difference there. And this really makes a difference, especially when you are trying to chain wall runs together or chain your movement together. Because in Infinite Warfare, you get fully recharged and ready to boost again a whole lot faster. This is where I would say the biggest difference is between Black Ops 3's movement system and Infinite Warfare's movement system. Now moving on to a big part of how the movement feels when you're jumping through the air and trying to shoot your gun, one thing I really noticed when I went back to playing Black Ops 3 is it felt like my gun was bouncing around a lot more while I was in the air, and it was a lot harder to hit my targets than in Infinite Warfare. Well, I did some testing in a private match here, and as you can see, when you jump up and down, especially when you hit the ground, your sight kind of bounces all over the place in Black Ops 3, whereas if we compare that to Infinite Warfare, it stays pretty much centered. It doesn't really bounce around that much. There's a slight bounce to it, but it's not much at all. This might look scary, but when you actually fire your gun, this is purely visual. Your aim doesn't actually dip way down like that in Black Ops 3 like it looks like it does. It actually stays centered. It stays right where you are basically aiming, It's just the animation of your gun bounces around and makes it feel like you lose accuracy when you're jumping and especially when you're hitting the ground. The same thing applies to Infinite Warfare, but I would say Infinite Warfare is a lot more accurate in showing that your aim isn't really that affected, and therefore, at least for me, there was definitely a bit of a placebo effect going on in Black Ops 3. I felt like I was a lot more inaccurate in the air, and that's because in Infinite Warfare, the animations themselves feel much more stable. So when we're comparing how stable your aim is in the air, it's technically the same for both games, or very, very similar to the point where any difference is essentially negligible. But the animations are very clearly different, and it appears that you are less stable in Black Ops 3. So moving on to the final category I wanted to compare between these games with the movement system is any sort of special movement that you can take advantage of to get the upper hand in the game. In Black Ops 3, after the G-Slide was patched, the most effective way to get around the map, assuming you didn't have a bunch of ledges, which we're going to be looking at in a little bit, the most effective way to get around the map on flat ground was to slide and then hit YY and just continue doing that repeatedly. This little technique gave you a little bit of a speed boost and allowed you to get from point A to point B slightly faster, and Infinite Warfare kind of has its counterpart, which is the slide jump technique. So instead of slide YY, you hit slide and then you jump at the peak of your slide. And that allows you to keep a little bit of your momentum of your slide and continue on with that momentum. Between the two systems, Infinite Warfare's slide jump is slightly better than Black Ops 3's slide YY technique. But there's another thing that we gotta factor in here, and this is ledge slides. In Black Ops 3, if you slide off a ledge and hit jump immediately after you do that, if you catch it just right, you get a massive boost forward in the air and you just float across the map very, very quickly. And this is an extremely effective tactic that can be used by skilled players to come out on top and get around the map much, much faster. Infinite Warfare doesn't have any sort of counterpart to match up to this ledge slide. So Black Ops 3 definitely gets the edge there with the ledge slide because Infinite Warfare just doesn't have any sort of movement technique that competes. So overall, those are the main differences I was able to find between the movement system in Black Ops 3 versus Infinite Warfare. Of course, there are a lot of similarities. It's not like Advanced Warfare where you only get like one double jump and there's no actual boost meter. They are similar in that sense, but there are a lot of differences. As for which one is better, I don't think anybody could say objectively that one is better than the other. It more so comes down to your personal preference. I feel people that don't like the advanced movement quite as much would lean a bit more towards the Black Ops 3 system because that charge time takes quite a bit longer, and therefore you can't be boosting around quite as frequently as in Infinite Warfare. But on the other side of it, the people that really like using the advanced movement will most likely favor Infinite Warfare's advanced movement system, and I'm actually falling on that side of things. I love Black Ops 3, I think overall Black Ops 3 is a better game, but I do prefer the movement system of Infinite Warfare. And with that, I'd like to know in the comment section below, which is your preferred movement system between Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.